All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Edwin Alvarado, and he's going to take a few minutes just to introduce himself. I'm Victoria. I'm the Team Services Librarian here at the Iowa City Public Library, and this is a workplace initiative program focused on dancing and everything else that Edwin does. So I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Okay, Victoria, thank you so much for definitely being with me here or having me on camera. Like you said, yes, I'm Edwin Alvarado. And what would you like to know specifically, Victoria, about me, about what I do? Tell me a little more.
Yeah, so the purpose of this workshop, Edwin, is to give teens, young people, an idea of what it's like to be in different professions. And so if you can just start by telling us what it is you do for work, what is your job title and what does that mean? Like what do you do every day?
That's pretty good. I am the owner of J&E Entertainment, and as a company, we provide sound and lighting for any type of events. And when I mean any type of events, I am referring to festivals, corporate parties, uh, sound systems for conferences, weddings, festivals, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
Any time that there's a need for sound or lighting, we can provide that.
Mm-hmm.
That's as a company. As an individual myself, um, I am also a DJ, and I DJ, and I make the party happen. So that involves me being on the microphone, entertaining crowds, and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Great. So the nature of your job, it doesn't sound like it's a 9 to 5 job. Would you say that the hours are very different? And how many hours do you think that you commit to doing both of those jobs in a week?
That is a very good question. Part of the work that we do for Jenny Entertainment, like I said, is also corporate work, which involves translations when we provide sound system for conferences or you name it. So sometimes um, there are conferences that take place at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we have to be ready to go at 6 o'clock in the morning after being setting up perhaps the entire night and have the equipment ready to go at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to parties, when it comes to weddings or club DJing, uh, entertaining people that who are coming to an event to dance, those events usually take place somewhere between 6 p.m. and they can go till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely, it's not 8 to 5 jobs. It's more like we have to be ready to provide the service when the client needs it.
Right. So then it sounds like some of your work is kind of like entrepreneurship, like you're a businessman as well as you're the DJ and you're putting the sound and lights. Do you have other employees that work for you, or is it just one Edwin and you do everything?
No, I have grown to a point that there are many events that I cannot do myself. There are small events that I can actually do it myself,
Mm-hmm.
but there are events that I need sometimes 5 different employees.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not have any employees on payroll. I have um, statutory employees,
Mm-hmm.
people who come and they help me whenever I need them.
Sure.
So I have a pool of people that I rely on, and based on when they are available, that's how they come to help when I need them.
Right. Okay. So you said you DJ and you do lighting and sound. For people who are interested in that kind of work, how did you get into learning how to DJ or how different sound equipment works? Did you learn a lot of it by yourself or did you take classes or how did you get the experience in that kind of work?
That's a really good question, and I will say that back in the early '90s, I used to be I used to live in Honduras, and one of my neighbors across the street was the owner of La Máquina Disco Móvil, and he provided sound and lighting for events. And he and I were basically same age, so we were friends, and I started helping him do setups and all that. When I moved to US, um, I was actually managing a corporation in Cedar Rapids. We provided transcription services for VA medical centers, includes also the University of Iowa, and so it was a big corporation. I was managing about 450 employees, and in 2007, somewhere around 2007, um, there was kind of like a salsa dancing club in Cedar Rapids. And the DJ that used to play the music got tired of doing it. And I remember I was in my desk and I received an email, and he said that salsa night was being canceled that night because he had decided to quit. So I replied to the entire group, and I said, "Hey, I have some software in my computer and I have music.
Yeah.
I am going to DJ tonight. So come out, let's have fun." And and that's how I started. I started because somebody quit, but I had the background, I had the knowledge.
Right.
And when the opportunity was there,
Sure.
I jumped in and I started DJing. I started DJing as a hobby.
Okay.
And then the venue liked what I did. They approached me at the end of the night and they said, "Hey, how about we pay you $150 and you play the music every week?" And I said, "Well, the equipment was already connected. I only needed to bring my computer." And I said, "No problem."
Right.
So that's how I started. But I started as a as a hobby. It wasn't even a business.
Right.
And then and that was it. That's how I began.
That's awesome. So you said translation services or transcription services. So you speak another language as well?
Spanish is my native language, and I also know a good amount of Portuguese. So
awesome. Do you feel like knowing Spanish and English, you're able to tap into a Latina community and an English speaking community? Do you have an audience from like lots of different areas of the community, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that Jenny Entertainment, or perhaps myself, has been successful because of that, because I am able to interact with different type of communities. So I interact with the Latino community, and I understand the rest of the community, the non-Spanish speaking people. So yeah, I feel that being bilingual helps a lot.
Right. As far as the technology goes, you said that you got to practice in Honduras with Eneba's equipment, but if you're just starting off and you're a young person, are there apps that you can use, or can you get going with just your computer or a laptop? Like, do you know anywhere in town where you could get experience DJing?
That's a good question. Where can somebody get experience? Nowadays, the technology, like you said, when I started back in the 90s, compared to how things are right now, is 180 degrees change, 100%. And back then we were using CDs.
Yeah.
Then we went to MP3 files, and even we had a cassette player.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But nowadays everything is on the cloud. So there are applications. In fact, I think I have my controller here somewhere. In fact, I'm just gonna grab it. Yeah. I have a controller that not too many DJs have. I am in my studio right now, by the way. So you can see, let me see, this is a controller.
Cool.
And when it comes to technology, what I have right here in the middle is an iPad.
Oh.
So I'm gonna disconnect it so you can see.
Mm-hmm.
It's an iPad. It's a regular iPad.
Yeah.
And yes, it's an iPad, a normal iPad. You see, I have the messenger from my iPhone, and you are able to pull up applications like you call it, right? There is one, and this is pretty much my DJ software that I am able to control with this piece of equipment. Now,
Nice.
do I need this piece of equipment to operate my laptop? Or my laptop or my tablets? No, you don't need the piece of equipment.
Right.
I do it because sometimes I am able to operate easier some sort of effects. I'm kind of old school, so I depend a lot on hardware. But I see that nowadays a lot of people that are into gaming, they are really agile with their hands.
Right.
So hence they are able to operate the software easier. For me, like I said, I perhaps call me old school if you will, but I feel more comfortable operating a controller.
Right.
But nowadays you are able to do anything and everything without a controller. You just need even my phone. I have the same exact application. Let me look for it, which is this one. You can see. You pull it up,
Sure.
and right there it is.
Cool.
It's the DJ software, even from my phone. Same thing that I can do with the iPad and with the controller, I am able to do it with the phone. The difference would be the type of cables or wires that I need to connect to the main soundboard.
Sure.
But the performance will be exactly the same. There's no difference.
Wow. Cool. Very cool. So then with something like that, if you were like, say you were doing a salsa evening, would you just make the whole playlist and then you would kind of modify it throughout the night? Or would you have every song just kind of lined up and you would have to like play it one after another?
That's a really good question. And I will give you my secret, what has made me successful in this business. My answer to that is a DJ should never rely on a playlist.
Sure.
Reason is because the mood of the person changes from party to party. What you go through in your house 1 week, perhaps it's going to differ from what you are going through in life the following week.
Right.
What I'm going with this is the mood of the clientele of the person that you are entertaining changes. So as a DJ, you should be able to read those expressions in the crowd and be able to accommodate the music to set up a certain mood that is going to go with what you are feeling at the moment.
Sure.
So having a playlist is not a good idea from a professional standpoint. Perhaps it's going to make do. However, it will not fulfill the crowd's expectations. Even if the playlist worked a previous week, even if I had a beautiful and amazing party and my software is able to record what I played the previous week, even if I go with the same exact playlist the following week, it will not work. It may work, but most likely it will not. So as a DJ, like I said, one of the things as a DJ is be able to read the crowd and set up a certain mood that the crowd is feeling.
Right. Excuse me.
Will the
Yeah, it's kind of like if you go to Target and you buy a shirt, it's not like a one size fits all shirt. If you have like somebody that does all your measurements and makes it fit you, it's like you have an intuition and you're kind of evolving with the audience as they go along.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's
That is
cool.
correct. Perhaps even on a playlist, you may have a song that a certain person likes, or a certain group, maybe a group of 5 or 6 or 10, you name it, they may like a certain song. And sometimes you play those songs
Hmm.
because a certain group will react to it and they will drag other people.
Hmm.
But there are certain nights that those 10 people are not there.
Right.
So when you play the song, those 10 people that are going to pull the crowd on
Sure.
on the dance floor are not there to do that.
Right.
So as a matter of fact, at the moment, that song that perhaps worked the previous night is going to be a failure the
Right.
following night. So
Right.
does it answer your question?
Yeah. What about, when you probably first started DJing, you might have been around more people who were like your age, and now like that you're very seasoned and like, you know what you're doing. How do you stay current with what people who are younger, like maybe just, high school age or teenagers or college age, how do you stay on top of things that are still popular?
Wow. You just asked me perhaps one of the most difficult questions and perhaps one of the most more important things in the industry and being a successful DJ. Um, I have to read a lot. I have to spend probably about 3 hours a day reading billboards in what is happening in Europe, what is
Hmm.
happening in US, what is happening in New York,
Hmm.
what is happening in California, what is happening in Mexico,
Sure.
with music and all that. The music continued to evolve. And like you said, perhaps the crowd that I used to DJ for 20 years ago or 15 years ago, those people have families and they don't come out to the clubs, they don't come out to the dances
Yeah.
anymore. But their children are.
Right.
And their children are listening to other type of genres
Hmm.
and other type of songs, other
Hmm.
type of lyrics. And as a DJ, that's part of your job is to read, to listen to a lot of music and continue being updated. Otherwise, as a DJ, you can become obsolete in a couple of years,
Right.
and then the crowd won't be feeling what you are playing.
Right. Um, so what would you say are some of the most rewarding aspects of your job?
I would say that the most rewarding aspect of my job is to make people happy.
Yeah.
Um, I honestly enjoy um, coming to a dance, coming to a club, and you will see people that are in tables. They are sitting, and you see their faces. That perhaps, like I said, they may be going through something during the week, and then as the night progresses, I am able to read those face expressions, and then you
Hmm.
see the people having fun, having
Yeah.
happy, and that's very very rewarding
Right.
because you know that people are feeling the music, and you are able, and I am able to keep them in happy
Hmm.
and in a great mood.
Right. So then the opposite of that, the inverse of that, what do you think, what are some challenges? I mean, besides the past year, like what are some day-to-day challenges, or like when you're thinking about your job, like what are some things that are maybe things that you didn't expect when you got into the field that are pretty challenging?
Perhaps what is challenging for me, or what has been challenging for me, is the changes in technology. Like
Yeah.
when you were referring to, I was saying that in the beginning I was playing with CDs,
Mhm.
including cassettes. That most likely a lot of people don't know cassettes, and then we went to MP3s, and I still play MP3s, but then you go to other platforms. Some platforms are able to synchronize with Spotify. SoundCloud, Tidal.
Right.
But some of those corporations, some of those softwares, sometimes have certain agreements with those other corporations, and sometimes those agreements don't go well. And so we as DJs can have a big investment in certain softwares
Right.
that they are not compatible anymore with certain platforms. So
Right.
what do? You have to change that, and you should be able to accommodate. And sometimes a piece of software may become obsolete from
Right.
just within a week or two.
Right.
So that perhaps that's the most challenging,
Right.
and that's the most challenging. All the challenges that I have faced is collecting money from clients.
Oh, sure.
Why is that? Because a client, sometimes when you deal, particularly with weddings, um, you trust the people,
Right.
and a check may bounce. And so there have been times that has been a big event, $2,500, $3,000 event,
Right.
and a check bounce. And when the check bounces, then you have to hand down the clients. And since the party already took place, they already enjoy. Sometimes it's difficult collecting money. So that can be a challenge if the person doesn't have the party agreements already in place,
Mm-hmm.
the correct billing, the correct documents for liability and whatnot. And so if a person that is providing this type of service doesn't have that in place, he can run into issues
Sure.
when it comes to money.
Right. Do you have to handle that? Like, do you do your own taxes? Or do you have people that help you with that kind of thing?
In the past 10 years, I've been doing the taxes myself.
Right.
I feel more comfortable doing my own taxes than having an accountant do my
Sure.
taxes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So say like a young person wants to get in the field, if you could describe like characteristics of somebody that would excel in this field, what kind of person would do really well in this kind of job?
In this type of job, to become a DJ and be able to handle a big party, a big crowd, first off, the person has to like to be within crowds,
Mm-hmm.
within the crowd. If a person is not outgoing, perhaps it's going to have a big challenge,
right?
Because of crowds. I have been DJing with DJs that are kind of shy.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing.
Right.
Because some people get what do you call it?
Like stage fright.
Yeah, like when when a place get crowded.
Oh
crowded,
yeah.
You
Like
start kind of like a shaky, nervous, and whatnot,
yeah.
and
Like anxiety.
anxiety, exactly. Yeah. So I believe that a person has to be
Sure.
100% outgoing.
Okay.
And be able to handle long nights.
Right.
Long nights.
Right. And early mornings.
And early mornings. Sometimes early mornings, yeah.
Cool. How would you say COVID has impacted your business, and has it changed your business model at all going forward?
Yes, it did. It did, but now we are back. I feel that everything is normal.
Yeah.
But for about 12, 14 months, COVID impacted my business quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot.
Like, did you work during COVID?
I didn't do much during COVID. I did video editing because I also provide video editing. So I did a lot of video editing work that I was doing right here in my studio. Mm-hmm. I was doing podcasting. But as far as providing sound for corporate, mm-hmm. For festivals, weddings, and all of the above, that wasn't taking place. Right. So that was completely done. Mm-hmm. Club DJing was done.
Right.
In fact, back in I will say that it was 2019. Yes, it was 2019, December 2019. Well, that was the year of the pandemic, right? It was 2020. No, it was
2020, like March 2020 is when
it
like
was
it
March
all hit.
2020.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's say it was March 2020. Yes. Um, that year, I DJ'd a party actually, um, Christmas party,
Hmm.
and I caught COVID, and all the my family members that are around me
Right.
also got COVID because of me. So
Sure.
that was something that I even experienced myself, you know. So I completely understand why there wasn't really much activity because it was a big risk. I
Yeah.
decided to take the risk, and I got sick.
Yeah.
I got sick at a party
Yeah.
because I was sharing a microphone with another DJ, and it happens that the DJ had COVID, but he didn't know. And since I was using the microphone, I got COVID.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I faced um, a very slow period with my business
Hmm.
during COVID. I was able to maintain afloat again because I do video editing, I do podcasting and whatnot. But I feel that a business that hadn't expanded to video or podcasting, perhaps they were suffering a little bit.
Right. So the podcast you do, is that related to DJing or no?
Yes, it is because I that's what I do. Some sort of advertising in order to continue uh, uh, advertising my business and telling the crowd I am alive still. I am here. I am the person that makes the party happen. So that podcasting has to take place.
Hmm. So you have to advocate for yourself a lot, and you have to kind of self-advertise a lot and keep. How do you keep motivated when sometimes you might just want to crawl into your bed and not get up? I mean, what makes you keep going?
What makes me keep going is that um, I see my career as a business, and I know that whether I do the work or somebody else does
Hmm.
the work has to get done.
Hmm.
So I have an agenda of things that I need to accomplish every single week,
Hmm.
and so they have to be done.
Right.
Now, I don't have a specific what I call it time during the day. For example, that I can say I'm gonna get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm gonna do a podcast for 45 minutes.
Sure.
No, I can do the podcast at night. I can pre-record and then air it. So when it
So
comes
you
to
you don't
rest,
you just kind of have like a longer time frame of a deadline, but you can do whatever you want within the week to make sure that you get everything checked off your list.
that is correct.
Right.
That is correct. So
Hmm.
when it comes to finding those times where I can rest, to be honest, I rest
Hmm.
whenever I want to rest. That's the beauty of this job. That
Right.
if after this interview, this conversation that we are having, if I want to go take a nap, I'll go take a nap.
Right.
However, I know that I have stuff that I gotta get ready for. I have an event tomorrow night, tomorrow
Right.
Friday. Then I gotta start setting up for the block party Iowa City at probably around 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So I have things that I need to get ready. Double check my equipment that is working properly. Make sure that my cables are transferring the signal correctly,
Mhm.
and all of that. So,
Sure.
like I said, I know I can go take a nap after
Right.
we are done with this conversation, but in the back of my head, I know
Yeah.
that
You
my
have to
equipment has to be ready for
Right.
tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Yeah. So if Edwin was just starting his career now in July 2021, would you still consider starting a career in DJing? Like, what do you think the future of DJing looks like, and what do you think it's going to look like in 10 or 20 years down the road?
I feel that everything will be 100% digital. Um, Perhaps when it comes to sound systems, everything will be wireless. Um, the equipment, I am envisioning the equipment to be more compact, smaller,
Mhm.
that perhaps what I am carrying right now in a trailer is going to be able to fit in the back of my SUV.
Right.
That's what I am envisioning. That's what I feel that the technology is going to. For example, let me see. I have a studio speaker right there. That speaker is pretty good. It's about, I think it's about 300 watts continuous,
Mhm.
and that's a big load for that small speaker.
Right.
So right here we are with this speaker that is 300 watts, and it's little. So perhaps with as the technology continue to progress,
Mhm.
perhaps this speaker may go to half of what it is in size
Right.
and be able to produce the same sound. So
Sure.
things are evolving quickly. So I
Right.
feel that what's going to happen in 20 years, perhaps the big difference will be the size of the equipment,
Mhm.
mostly speakers.
Mhm. Do you right now, do you have a lot of competition like in Iowa?
Um, I will say that I don't want to call it competition because there's enough clientele for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, what I provide is very, very specific
Mhm.
because as we were describing before, is I am able to interact with different type of crowds. Latino, for example, I do a lot of Indian events as well. So we are a lot of DJs in the area, but some of us are specific in certain areas. So
Sure.
the DJ industry is huge. There can be DJs for electronic dance music, EDM. There are
Yeah.
DJs that focus only on R&B, hip hop. There are other DJs that focus only in country music, and so on. So that's what I said. I don't think there's enough for everybody. Competition. Um, I don't. To be honest, I don't know if there's competition
Sure. Sure.
because, like I said, I am very kind of specific in what I do, being
Sure.
bilingual.
Sure. So if young people are interested in getting into this field, what advice would you give them?
If young people want to get into this field, my advice is be willing to work with all different types of crowd. If in order to be successful as a DJ, you have to work with all different types of crowds,
Mhm.
regardless their background, race, beliefs. We are here to provide a service
Mhm.
and to make people happy. If we are not willing to do that, then we are definitely in the wrong side in the wrong job. Why am I saying this? Because I have run into clients that they have expressed frustration to me that they have dealt with other DJs and they have refused to provide service for them.
Oh
I
wow.
have DJed probably about 10 weddings already that have been two women getting married or two guys getting married, and I
Mhm.
have happily provided the service, and everything has been a success.
Yeah.
However, there have been other DJs that they have refused to
Right.
provide the service to them. So that's what I'm saying. In order to be successful as
Mhm.
a DJ, um, the person has to be able or willing to please um, way a big
A diverse
a
crowd.
diverse group of people. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well,
But as far as technology and equipment,
yeah,
not like I said, everything I can even log everything or access everything through my phone,
right.
through iPads. That's what I am using nowadays, and
Mhm.
so this controller, I can control my controller anywhere because it's connected to internet all of the time,
Right.
and I am able to access my entire music libraries from the cloud. So
Uh,
if you have an iPad,
right.
you pretty much are able to do a DJ job.
Right. What are some good apps for people just starting out? Like what would be something that they could just kind of see whether or not they liked it? Are there any on the market that you could just kind of test out?
There's an application that is called DJ,
DJ?
D, yeah, J-A-Y, DJ. That's a good application, or at least the one that I use.
Mm-hmm.
And Tractor, Tractor has softwares out there that some of them are free, but the professionals that I use are paid.
Sure.
But if somebody wants to get their feet wet,
Mm-hmm.
um, they can actually download a free version of Tractor
Tractor.
and should be able
Like
to navigate
John
this.
Deere tractor, you mean? Like
No,
that kind
Tractor
of
is
tractor?
no Tractor is spelled like a Traktor. Tractor.
Okay. All right. Like a DJ track.
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna bring a controller that I cannot reach from here. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Oh, cool.
So this is a Tractor controller, which is does Tractor,
Oh, okay.
which is different from the other one
Sure.
that I mentioned to you. This one, I need a computer to operate this one.
Mm.
So that's a different option. Now, do I need a controller to operate an iPad or a computer? No, I do not. This is called a controller. You don't need this. This is this is optional. And
Sure.
like I said before, I'm a kind of old school guy. So for me, hardware works really well. I like it. I think it looks pretty. It looks beautiful
Right.
when for my setup.
Right.
Um, and also the type of outs that it has, they work better for me. But I know a DJ from Orlando, Florida, that he and I have worked together. That he doesn't use controller. He uses only his iPad, and he's able
Right.
to perform just fine. Do I
Yeah.
like it? My opinion is biased. I will
Yeah.
say no, I don't like it
Yeah.
because I don't like it because I am used to using my equipment.
Yeah.
But there are many people that like it.
Sure.
It's just a personal preference. I would rather go with the
Yeah.
controller route.
It's funny. I mean, just like aesthetically, I've seen DJs in Ibiza with just a laptop and it looks like they're not doing the work. But I know, of course, they are, but there's something about, the turntables or like the setup that just makes it seem more legitimate or something.
That is, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. To
Yeah.
be honest, it's different from just arriving with an iPad or a computer than having a controller in front of me.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and there are different types of controllers. The industry is huge.
Yeah.
There are controllers that operate only with vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this controller that I have, the one that I showed you before with the iPad, um, I haven't seen any other DJs in the area with this type of software. I would I will say that probably there are not any other DJs
Right.
with this type of software. This is
Cool.
so I feel that this is just me. I don't know why they don't like it. maybe because I decided to take the risk
Yeah.
and use the cloud about 3 years ago. That's when I started using this controller 3 years ago. And some people don't feel comfortable using the cloud. And I don't blame them, because if I use internet, then that's a problem.
Right. So then,
Now, I always have a backup,
right,
just in case something happens. In my backup, again, is my business secret, how I manage my business. I do
right,
have always a backup. So
right.
even if these things were to die because of lack of internet, I am still able to carry on with the party. Why? Because I already figured out what to do.
Right.
So,
So then how do you make sure that you're not like copyright infringement or things like that, that you're legally allowed to play all the songs that are in your cloud? Like you just check that before?
that's a good question. Why? There are many, as of right now, DJs in America, in US, there are not music licenses for DJs.
Okay.
The different music companies that regulate the copyrights in America do not want to provide licenses to any DJs. So the way we operate, if it's an outdoor festival, a license is not required. If it's a party at a venue, the venue has to carry the music license, and we are able to perform.
Sure.
And that's why you see that most venues that play music, they have to pay a license. Otherwise, they are not allowed to play music in their buildings. Even if you go to any restaurant that is playing music, it's because they have a music license that they have to pay. So based on that, we are able to perform at any club, at any venue, because the venue carry the music license. That's how it operates.
Yep. Awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, that is all of the questions that I have for you. Is there anything that you think that I didn't cover, or anything else that you need to say before we're done?
No, I don't think I don't have anything else. Just I encourage anybody to jump in this industry. I will say it's very, very rewarding. You are able to manage and do your own schedule. Keeping in mind, of course, that you have to pay attention to your client needs. So the client has to always come first, and my nap has to come second. But
First, nap second. Got it.
yeah, the mentality has to be that you are going to please a client.
Sure.
And if you as a teenager have that type of attitude, definitely you're going to be successful in this industry.
And do you have events that you always do every year if somebody wanted to check you out?
Yes, I have a monthly events, weekly events. I will be having an event this coming Friday in Cedar Rapids at the new Bohemian. You should come out to Victoria. Come check it out. It's gonna be actually salsa night, salsa dancing.
Nice.
I provide salsa dancing, sound and lighting for the View Rooftop in Iowa City. That's a monthly event. There's another venue in Iowa City that is called Taco Loco. It's coming in the next few weeks. In 3 weeks, we are going to be providing service every Thursday. I am also providing a lot of sound during festivals, outdoor events, like you mentioned before. For the Latino Festival, Iowa City, I will be there. I will be also at the Latino Festival in Washington, Iowa. So yeah, people can come out and check it out.
Yeah.
And if the person is interested, they just reach out to me, let me know that you want to come out and see how everything goes, and I am more than willing to provide somebody with with an opportunity to see how everything operates behind the scenes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Edwin.